Hello folks, welcome to part 40 in this hybrid zombie shooter full course. Today we're going to take a look at what an AI perception is and also how to set it up. I'm going to simplify this as best as I can, and this is a very simple tool for you to use, but it's also a very powerful tool for you to use to bring your AI alive without having to do too much calculations in game. Before we go any further, I was actually looking for some zombie sounds to implement into the game, and I came across this animation pack. Now, I know this animation pack is about $20, and each month I actually like to support one of the developers in the Fab store. So this month I chose to purchase this pack and add it to our project. Now, you don't have to buy this pack to follow up with the rest of the project, but I will be using some animations from this pack. Now, this pack does come with a variety of attack animations and idle animations, but in terms of the walk animation and run animation, there's only one type of walk and run animation. So this is not going to help us with creating that differences unless you're willing to take those animations, edit it to make it look different. With that being said, I have added the animation pack to our Excel sheet, bringing our total project cost to about $50, which is not that bad. We haven't reached a full game price yet. So let's get into the tutorial for today. Now, one thing I do want to show you is that I have went ahead and retargeted all of those animations that comes in the pack to the zombie girl skeleton from Mixamo, and I have organized the different types of animations into different folders. Let's get on to our AI perception today. In our last tutorial, we took a look at what a behavior tree is and also what a blackboard is. We're using this system to create a very simple but a very smart system to control our AI and the activities that the AI are going to perform. Now, one of the things that we want to do is, when the game starts, we don't want the AI to start chasing us right off the get-go. If you're making a game like Call of Duty where the zombie spawns in and immediately runs towards the player, then that works perfectly fine. You can just go ahead and off of your route, you can select a sequence, and off of the sequence, set the speed of the zombie based on the level. You can choose that, or you can just set this to run, and then you can just go ahead and do a move to, select your move to, and set this blackboard key to target actor. We have already defined our target actor in our AI controller. So if I press play, all the zombies will now start moving towards me. So this is how a Call of Duty type zombie game works. But we're not really making a Call of Duty type zombie here. We want to make a little bit more towards Resident Evil type of zombie game. There's not too much zombies in the map, but then again, they are there. They're very creepy and they're very scary. Like, they're just right around the corner, just standing there doing nothing. And then when they see the player, they kind of like do a scream animation or do like a detection animation. And then they start running at the player or walking towards the player. Like, this is the type of game that I'm envisioning for this to be. So for this, we're going to use the AI perception to our advantage here. Let me go to my behavior tree and let's go ahead and delete this. We no longer need this. Go to your AI controller that we created in our previous game, and you're going to add in a new component, and the new component is called AI perception. This is a very intuitive component that actually adds a whole bunch of different sensing abilities for your zombie. It activates their ears, their eyes, their touch senses, their feelings. It activates all of that just with this one component. So if you select the AI perception, on the right side, you will see there is an option for senses config. And here is where you will determine what type of senses you want your zombies to have. So if you click on plus, it's going to give you an index 0. And if you click on this drop-down menu, you're going to have 6 different options to choose from. Now, there is a documentation detailing every single aspect of this AI perception, which I will add in the link in the description below, which will walk you through each and every single different type of the AI perception, and it will tell you what it is and what each and every single component does based on the different senses that you have chosen. At this time, we're not going to be working with the hearing sense because we haven't really added any sounds to our player, but we can immediately work with our sight config. So let's go ahead and select our sight config and then click on this little arrow to expand the sight config and expand this sense option. Now you have a whole bunch of options to choose from. Before I go ahead and explain all of these options, let me show you what this has done in game. So now if I press play, nothing has really changed. Even if I go close to the zombie can see me, but nothing has really changed. If I press the apostrophe key, you're going to get the AI debugging screen. On the top right side, you actually have options between 0 to 5. These are the numbers that you can select in your numpad. And based on this, you'll be able to access different debugging option. If I press 0, you'll see our nav mesh and where the nav mesh is active and everything in the game. If I press 0 again, nav mesh is gone. If I press 1, it actually takes off the AI information. Default, it comes with the AI information. You can see the name of the AI and all of the other informations on the top right side. But if I press 1, it kind of declutters the screen and gets rid of it. On 2, we have the behavior tree. It actually defines what behavior tree our zombie is actually using. If I press 2, the behavior tree information will go away. What we are interested in at this time is option number 4 and option number 5. If I press option number 4, it would actually create a debugging for the perception. And option number 5 will give us a little bit more information regarding the perception system. The option number 4, as soon as we selected it, you can see this big circle appearing on the map. What this basically is the sight radius of the zombie. I know it may be a little bit hard to see on screen right now, but on the top left side, you actually can see the sight in green color where it says the range in and range out. Let's go and make this smaller so we can easily view this. So in game, where you have your sight radius, we're going to change this to about 300. And the loose sight radius would be 350. And this is pretty straightforward. Sight radius is the player needs to be within this radius for the AI perception system to trigger and say, hey, the player is within our sight. And if the player goes beyond 350 centimeters from the AI perception system or that radius, then the AI system is going to say, hey, we lost the player. And the debug color is set to green. So we can go ahead and press play right now. And again, press the apostrophe key. We can press 1 and 2 to kind of declutter the screen. We only need 4 and 5. Now this radius is much more manageable for us to look at. The outer neon pink color is the loose sight radius, and the inner green color is the actual sight radius. So as long as the player is within this green circle, the AI will be able to detect it. Now, one thing you will immediately see is that the circle is cut in half with a straight line going through it, and that half is further cut into half by another green line. This is the actual sight radius or the cone. So if I go on the other side of this half circle, then the zombie AI won't be able to see me. Only if I'm beyond this green line or in front of the zombie, obviously, the zombie will be able to see me. And this is controlled by the peripheral vision half angle. Right now it's set to 90, so it would actually look at it in 180 degrees. So it's 90 to the left and 90 to the right. That's what that center line indicates. If I change this to 180, then it's going to look at 180 on both directions. So that'll be 360, right? So if I go ahead, apostrophe key, if I 1, 2, 4, and 5, now you can see the circle is only cut in half. That means the zombie can see everywhere around the circle, even if the player is behind the zombie. So the ideal state that we want the peripheral vision to be is about 110. 110 is good. If you want to keep it at 90, that's up to you. And 110, it will actually make it so that the circle is a little bit bigger. So they do have a little bit more peripheral vision compared to if you were to just set it to 90. Now the detection by affiliation system actually can allow us to choose between detecting enemies, detecting neutrals, or detecting friendlies. However, if you're using Blueprint, the only option that is available to you is detecting neutrals. You won't be able to detect enemies. You won't be able to detect your friendlies. You'll only be able to detect neutrals. Now, friendlies, I'm not really worried about because there's actually a config for our team sense, and that works. So if you really want to let the zombie know that there's another zombie beside them, or an enemy AI to let them know that there's a partner beside them, then you can actually use this team config, which is not something that we would use in a zombie game at this time. So we're going to go ahead and check mark this detect neutrals, and then let's see what happens in game. If you go in game, and let's open up our debugger, and as soon as I enter the circle, you will notice something. You will see there's a line that is connecting from the AI to the player, and it follows the player. This indicates that the zombie can see the player. And as soon as I pass that peripheral line, you'll notice that the bubble stops following us. And very small, I don't know if I can show you here, there's actually an age that actually counts up. I don't know if this is a better angle, but if you're in game and if you're following through, you'll see on the bubble there's actually an age and the number just keeps going up. That is basically indicating how long has it been since the AI broke sight with the player. So if I go back into the bubble here, you will see that the age is set to 0 and the bubble has reached the player again, and we are now being tracked by the AI. And we're going to be continuously tracked even after we leave the green line. The tracking will only stop when we leave our lose sight radius right here. That's the outer circle that we have set up previously. So that's it. That's the simple way of explaining what this AI sight perception does. It's just when you're within the circle, the AI is gonna continuously keep tracking you. As soon as you go behind the peripheral, the zombie needs to turn around to look at the player. And as soon as the player leaves the outer circle, then the AI can no longer see the player, even if the player is in front. And this is what you got to work with. This is a very powerful tool for you to use, and you can configure this to your liking to fit your specific game. And we're going to now use the AI sight function to basically make the zombie be in an idle state until the player gets really close to the AI. As soon as the player reaches the AI's inner circle, we want the AI to start chasing the player. This is what we're going to do today. And one more option in our census config is the max age. So the max age, if it is set to 0, that means the sight bubble will always keep counting the age up as far as it goes. But if you set the max age to, let's say, about 3 seconds, and if you press play, let me quickly show this. As soon as the player enters and creates that vision bubble, and when the player exits, the age is going to count up to 3, and then it will disappear as soon as it hits 3. That means the AI has lost sight. I'm doing air quotes here. I know you can't see me here, but it's technically stating that the AI can no longer see the player and the AI is no longer pursuing the player.